All right, welcome back, everybody. My name is DJ, if you didn't know, but everyone calls me Rehabbing High Heels. And today's topic is something I've been dealing with all this week, which is how do you work with other wholesalers who co-wholesale, That makes no sense, right? So stay tuned. All right, cool. So I received a property that another wholesaler pretty much needed to find an end buyer. So she found me on Instagram, Rehabbing High Heels, just in case you didn't know anything about it. And she shot it, hit me in a DM. Okay. And once she did, we actually communicated and she presented a deal to me on Monday. So what did I do? I do what I do best, which is I have a relationship with other end buyers that I have personally sold to. So here are a couple of tips, mainly three to four, that can help you. One, work with other co-sellers. Two, focus only on as an end buyer and the relationships you have. So tip number one, when you're working with a co-wholesaler, make sure you have a co-wholesaler agreement. What that do for not only you who's putting work in, as well the person who has the seller and their agreement, is an agreement between you two stating that, hey, either A, we're split down the middle, the wholesaling fee, or B, I have permission and right to go ahead and wholesale a property that you have signed with the owner. So that's important, because what happened is you don't want to go to the title company and the title company does not know where the where the money goes. So you make sure you have it documented, and if you stay a little bit longer, I promise you'll get that tool and that golden nugget, because I like to give out free information as well free documents so you can move forward as a successful wholesaler. All right, tip number two, whenever you co-wholesale with a wholesaler, you want to make sure, one, where they're marketing, two, who they're focusing on, because what you don't want to do is have two flyers going to the same person, and the end buyer that you might have a relationship and they might have a relationship with have two different prices on their email, can really put a damper on closing. So find out if they're going to focus on social media, or they're going to do driving for, not driving for dollars, but call all the real estate agents. They have their own email address. What I usually do is some other tips that I can explain further inside the description box. Okay. And the final tip, working with a co-wholesaler, make sure that the work is split down equally. Yes, just because you have the contract, you still need to do your due diligence and your relationship and not rely so much on the other co-wholesaler who's putting in 110x or 10x of energy in your deal. Don't stop and then expect to go split down the middle. You have to have that clear understanding before you put your own time and energy in a deal. And this also will help a first-time This will also help a first-time wholesaler. Let's say you don't have the experience, but you want to utilize this opportunity to really focus on finding your buyers and building a buyer's list, or focus on the seller and building a seller's list to, use this opportunity whenever you co-wholesale. Okay. Now let's talk about a end buyer. Whenever you're working with a co-wholesaler, you have the right to represent your end buyer. So whenever you actually send your agreement over to your end buyer, it's between you and your end buyer. They should not need to know about the rest of the contract. It's just more so, hey, I'm assigning my interest that was already assigned to me and giving me permission to assign it to my end buyer. So you want to, one, make sure that you have the right to do that. 2, less paperwork. 3, have it written down. If it's not written down, it does not exist. That's what my mother told me. If you don't have it written down, it don't exist at all, okay? So now, once we get both of the papers, actually it's 3 papers now. You have A plus B, B plus C, C, and D. It's a lot of paper, but the title company know what you're doing, as well the seller know what you're doing, and the end buyer know what you're doing. You don't really want to have no more than 1 or 2. Really, you don't want to have but 1 wholesaler. When you start getting 2 to 3, don't even waste your time. I'm telling you, it's not even worth it. Just say, hey, how many people was assigned to this project or this wholesale project? And they say, well, I referred you, and then they called you. And don't do it. Just say, hey, it's too many people. It's too many hands, because now it makes it really messy. And you don't want a messy contract. You rather have, like I said, 1 wholesaler, and that's it. But since I actually agreed to having not only 1 wholesaler who's the original wholesaler, and the relationship that the wholesaler that knows me, which makes it 3 of us, I went ahead and agreed to this because, 1, you want to earn a relationship with the wholesaler, and then 2, you want it to be a win. All right, you know my saying, I'd rather have a bird in the hand than 2 birds looking at me crazy. So let's do a recap on what to do and what not to do. What to do is make sure you have a co-wholesale agreement between all parties. If there's 1 or 2, anything past that, don't do it. Also, it's important to know where the title is located. You need to know where the title is located, so that's where you get your coins, your money, your moolah, your dinero. That's important. And make sure the point of contact stays in communication. Do not make the original wholesaler feel threatened that you will undermine them, and it has happened, on getting this deal done. Okay? Tip number 2, which is making sure that the title's cleared and a clear understanding that you are the other end buyer wholesaler. Okay? And if you decide to go above the wholesaling fee, now you're making a retail wholesale. And again, that's not even worth it. Okay? But it's very imperative for you to set a standard between multiple wholesalers as well your end buyer. Now, talking about your end buyer is really important. Your end buyer needs to know the full truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Do not hide the fact that you have 3 wholesalers, because what will happen is he or she will look at the HUD and see 1, 2, 3 wholesalers, and then the cost. And it will pretty much put a bad taste in their mouth. So if you tell them in advance, hey, someone laid this on my lap, it's a wholesaler, it's me and 2 other people, some investors will understand what they're doing. I usually tell them, hey, I'm giving you at cost what the wholesaling fee, and we'll just split it 3, across the board with all 3 of us. There's no fluff. If you tell them the truth, I promise you they will respect you more. They will do business with you more, as will refer other end buyers, because the fact that you're upfront. So I really hope this information helped you out. Please leave a lot of comments. I love the likes, and click on that notification button, and I will talk to you guys soon. See ya.